Okay. Meeting to order at 5. Okay.
What do you want to be reminded about?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for Trustee Myers,
Oh.
Trustee Bogo. Administrative Assistant. Ms. Magdalena. Phillips here.
McLaughlin.
Lane. The same.
Trustee Todd,
E.
Trustee Brett.
Here.
Trustee Johnson, who is one of the minutes.
Adoption of agenda.
You may have to move it.
When you adopt the agenda, making off items A, E, and F.
From action.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I second that. And
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. At a regular meeting, the board may take action upon any item of business not appearing on the posted agenda. If first, the board publicly identifies the item, and second, one or more of the following occurs. The board by majority vote of the full board decides that an emergency as defined in government code section 54956.5 exists, or upon a decision by 2/3 vote of the board, or if less than 2/3 of the board members are present, the unanimous vote of those present, the board decides that there is need to take immediate action, and that immediate action came to the attention of the district after the agenda was posted, or the item was posted on the agenda of a prior meeting of the board occurring not more than 5 calendar days prior to the date of this meeting, and at the prior meeting, the item was continued to this meeting. 2, public comment and communication on non-agenda items to include Indian policies and procedures. During this portion of the meeting, members of the public may address the board on matters not on the agenda if such matters are within the subject jurisdiction of the board. Members of the public may address the board regarding items on this agenda immediately prior to their being discussed by the board. Time limit, 3 minutes per speaker, 20 minutes per subject will be influenced by the board president. No person shall initiate charges or complaints against individual employees or students of the district at a public meeting. And this is not to be confused with our open, with our community town hall. Do I have any comments? I'm not seeing any slips up here. Do you have any comments on agenda items? No, non-agenda items, sorry.
Non-agenda items, I believe you will.
Hmm?
Gonna have to fill out the form. Sister, would you take care of them?
My name is Eugene Lewis. I am Maya Tegcha and William Sylvia's grandfather. They attend the elementary school over here, and for Boyd's grandfather at the high school. Oh, I'm here for some issues that have come to my attention, about the school, about the children, and safety precautions. Oh, an incident yesterday was that, my grandchildren's mother works in Willow Creek. She's employed there daily, 5 days a week, for 8 hours a shift. I am the on-call other. And I was busy as throughout every day, as we all are. And the text on my phone showed, which I didn't get or notice, hearing the appointment and whatnot, was saying that the after-school program wasn't going on, that it was canceled midday. And so, not knowing that it was 3:05 or something, the front office of the elementary school called and said they had Maya. And so my immediate response was, why do you have Maya and what are you doing in the office? And the lady said, well, there's no after school program today. It was canceled midday. And so I said, okay, I'll come and I'll get Maya. Where are the other two? William Sylvia, Checkaw Sylvia. The lady at the front desk, who is a great help. What's her name? Brandis? Yeah, Brandis. Said that William had boarded a bus from the school. William lives with his mother in Tudor Creek, down river. Okay. Had boarded a bus and that he went to the youth center. Okay. The next question is, where's Checkaw? That I do not know. Okay. So then I said, I'll be there to get Maya immediate, which I did. And from there, went to the youth center. And the lady there at the youth center and everything, I said, so how did William get here? Oh, he got off the bus, you know. Okay, he got off the bus and came here, or did someone bring him here? He got off the bus on his own. Okay. And so now we have another that I need to find out his whereabouts. Checkaw is 7th grade. William, I believe, is 4th grade. Maya is 2nd grade. By the grace of God, Maya didn't go with her brothers. Maya went to the office. We do have adult supervision daily, true to say. We do have directions daily about the children that are there, and that Maya, Checkaw, and William in the after-school program are called out to me and or otherwise Donna Machilton and or otherwise any other nearest relative of me, and that where did the decision be made? Number one, for William to board the bus. Number two, for Checkaw to walk immediately off campus and go to the NF. Number three, Maya going to the front office. Where do we get a safety in practice that when it's signed and dated on paper, that where they live and that who is to be called and that they're in the after school program, that they do not leave the campus on their own?
Okay, I'm going to say let's open this up. Conversation. I think that answer would have to come from.
The other issue of safety is that my daughter, living with her mother at that time in Las Vegas, I would take her to school, and the practice that I did there was to stand in front of a camera, ID myself, go from IDing myself on camera through a locked door into the front office, identify myself, sign myself, if so, fingerprint myself to that extreme, to get into the campus, to see the child. If I was there in my own time to get her, or if I was going in with her once she reached the school. You know, I walked her all the way to school. About the gate at all times. We here have anybody anywhere in easy access. To me, I'm very distrustful of the outside world. I'm very distrustful of people with let's say disturbed and or drug-induced minds. I'm very concerned about an incident that occurred in Tuna Creek while I was there with my grandkids, about a man driving down the road and then driving back up the road in a friendly way, telling me he was lost and wanted to come into my area. How can you be lost? You drove in this way, you drive out this way. I am not your friend. My advice to you is to leave. You know, I don't know you. I don't know what your, I don't know your business. Don't want to know your business, and you don't want to know mine. But right now, I'm not your friend. I'm in fear for children because of what happened.
So we have a principal here. I'm just gonna say right now that we are gonna open up our community town hall meetings. And I don't want to.
What's your idea?
Talking to Mike.
Okay, I'm good.
You should be able to talk into it.
The only principal. Okay, so the only principal, is this on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, better. From Grupa L, Kirsten, would you be able to answer what the process is for when students don't, you know, when after school's programs cancel, what the process is for students that should have gone to after school?
Yes, so typically, if the students know to take the bus home, if after school is canceled, they know to do that. If they have to get picked up, then they go to the office and they wait. So, yeah, so the kids should have come to the office and waited.
So the responsibility lies on the child, not the caregivers that are supposed to be taking care of these kids? I don't think so.
Well, and I'm a little bit confused about how a student could get off a bus that's not their regular stop.
Exactly. How did they get on the bus?
So,
Yeah, without a bus pass.
right,
The driver should have, questioned like, hey, where's your bus pass? Where are you going? Or, yeah, I agree with that. And now that I know with these ones, because I've known them for a long time, you know, that there's going to be a talking to, and when after school is canceled, you go to the office, you know. Yeah.
So I have to say, what is so hard with 3 principals over there? No after school program. All after school program children go to the gym, go to the cafeteria until your parents come to get you. What is so hard for you principals to do?
They go to the office.
You,
go to
they
the
obviously
office.
didn't that day.
Yeah, they didn't. You're right.
Okay, don't tell me that they do, because they don't.
Well, those 2 didn't. Yes.
Whose responsibility is it? Is this district still liable from the time you drop them off to school until they walk in the door or in their driveway? Who's responsible? Is a district responsible?
My experience as a teacher for 27 years is the moment they are on at that bus site, we are responsible to the moment that we drop them off to their prescribed scheduled site. So ultimately, like you say, typically they're in the door. I mean, obviously the bus is going to leave before a lot of students walk into their home, but you understand the moment they step off that bus area, that's the protocol.
Thank you.
The teachers, do the teachers not escort kids to the buses or stand out and be aware of where the kids are going? Time?
Ms. Wright, would you clarify? what
Yes, they do.
Exodus is?
So Mr. Batilton introduced a new system where we release in waves now. So at 2:45, K through second is released first. So they're the first to board the buses. So somebody stands out there with a walkie-talkie. And when enough of the littles are out of the way, then they radio whoever's calling the waves. It can be me, it can be Brandis, it can be Cecil, it can be Dr. Kimball, whoever's available. And then we'll call the second wave. And yes, and I know that particular, at least the fourth grade class, the teacher lines them up and they all walk out together. And then same thing with the junior high, and the junior high wing is right there. So usually those kids, you know, you can see them and they leave. But yes, everybody walks their kids to the front of the school where the picnic tables are. Kids that are pickups wait at the tables if their parents are coming. If they go to ACES, they actually, the littles that come from the primary wing will get picked up by ACES before they even make it out to the tables. Because like Tamuchi and them are out there. And the older kids know to go to where Tamuchi is, over by like the third grade, by the gym in the third grade classrooms. And then the rest of the kids board the bus. So you get on the bus, you're in the pickup area, or you go to ACES.
I thought that we had.
I have a-
something-
I have a correction on that. I myself had 3 grandchildren that was supposed to go to ACES. They chose to ditch. And they walked off campus, went and played over in the football field and all over the place. And there was no one escorting anybody that day.
All different grades.
All
Yeah.
different grades, from first grade, third grade at that time, and fifth grade, I believe. So there, the things, I question every answer anymore, because the answers are always wrong. And if someone can tell me you're wrong, then I'll know somebody's doing their job. But to this day, I have not had that told to me that I was wrong. Because I know these things happen. And it's endangering our kids. And it's got to stop.
Well,
Not
it's
just
been
very
my-
much here, but from anyone everywhere else. You know, you got a lot of wander, you got a lot of highway, you got a lot of ins and outs, you got a lot of pastors too, you got a lot of nobodies that no one knows. You got a lot of anything,
We've got our own.
and that is dangerous. Every day.
Well, I personally want to apologize on behalf of this district that you had experienced that with your grandkids. And what you brought to our attention is protocol. And are we following protocol? And we will definitely have that discussion. So I apologize.
I would also ask for consistency, the protocol, but it has to be followed consistently.
Noted.
Jennifer, can you ask the elementary principals to follow up on their processes? Please, thank you.
My concern is like, she's going to talk to the students. What about the staff? I mean, students are kids. And you can come down on kids and have to talk to them, but aren't the adults like responsible? And you're kind of giving them the pass on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that was wrong. That,
Well, I disagree. I'm going to speak.
Well,
to
that's
the
how it
teachers
sounded.
too. Okay, I apologize. No, I will talk to the adults too, and I will let the office staff know that when ACES is canceled, that specifically, these kids need to go to the office and leave.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that the better discussion is that someone from staff go to each classroom and make sure that the students that are supposed to go to ACES do go to the office and don't get on a bus and not leave it up to telling the children if they should go to the office. Somebody should be escorted.
good idea.
I was thinking a pretty simple fix. And the thing simple is that if each teacher is responsible for just their students, it doesn't become this, 420 students. Now it's just 18 to 20 for each teacher. So.
I will report when I was a teacher in your district, when I was given notice that certain after-school programs, regardless of what they were canceled, I would stop class at that moment that I figured that I could either email or a phone call or on the intercom. I would stop my 9 to 10-year-olds and ask them, raise your hands if you're part of ACES. They would raise their hands and I would say it was canceled. So it was at the moment that that was my routine. And I'd contact parents and let parents know, what are we doing with your kid? Are they going home or are they going somewhere else? Because we all know we have families that depend on ACES for care. I know a lot of my colleagues do the same thing as long as we're made aware of it. But when we are in the trenches and getting last second cancellations, pretty darn hard to adjust to that at times. So it comes down to protocols and we'll have more.
Maya's statement to me in that day and everything, once she was with me, with Bob, he said, I didn't know where my brothers were. So I didn't know what to do. So I went to the office. That was her decision. Thank God. And if it was any other way that she did meet up with her brothers, then who would say that she didn't go with them?
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Do I have another? I'm gonna start with the report for our community town hall, unless I have other.
I do. I was by a parent to, I was at the school with doing a student study team, I guess. And I talked to the principal over at the elementary school. And we talked about complaint forms. And he was going to get them out to the front desk. And parents could come in if they had a complaint, they could fill them out. Okay. And then I think this person got in touch with you and you, Dana, said that you never heard of a complaint form, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't recall anybody talking to me about complaints.
Just today or in the last couple of days?
No.
Hey, Donna, Holly actually talked. to
No,
me.
not Debbie, you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you said, no, you never heard of a complaint form.
No, what I said was we have one, I don't know where it is, but I don't have it right now, but I will get it to you, but right now you just write it into a blank form and I will just write it on a piece of paper. However, I'm not sure which complaint, there's like 5 different types of complaints and I wasn't sure which one she had and I wasn't sure if I'd heard of that particular one. So I said, you can just write it on a piece of paper and it'll work. And then I'll get it. So I did tell her that.
Well, she said that you had said you hadn't heard of a complaint form.
I meant because there was 5 different types. that you
Okay,
could
well,
do.
that's
I
what
wasn't
she got.
sure.
She said, would you please ask about the complaint form?
Yeah, I'll
Because her
call her.
daughter is being right now abused by another student and it's things that are happening at the elementary school. And right now she's being singled out because this girl is saying that her daughter is a lesbian. And everybody's teasing her and saying things to her. And that's just giving a bad message to the whole little community that goes to school there. And that's being allowed because we don't have enough principals over at the elementary school.
One per student.
I don't understand why the offices don't have the complaint forms.
Well, it's been my experience that the complaint form should be right inside the front door of the office. So I'm confused why that's not there too, because, of course, at Orleans Elementary, we always kept the complaint form there. But I don't know, surely there's someplace there.
Apparently not. They can't find them at the district office.
We'll have them out tomorrow. They'll be mailed out there, but I'll call Holly and make sure she gets it. I'll just send her all the types and then she can help. But I did because I thought it was urgent to just write it down on a piece of paper and turn it in. You can do a verbal one or written one.
Who do they do the verbal ones to?
You can call me, you can call, usually me, and I'll write it down because I'm the complaint person. And what I do is I'll write down what they say and then I give it back to them for them to prove, to make sure I wrote down what they said accurately, and then they have to sign it.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to board reports.
Superintendent.
Oh, superintendent. Oh, very good.
Have a few extra for the audience. Well, before I start, I'm really interested in all these signs, so Tina, can you explain the purpose and what's going on with the signs? I was made aware of some incidents that have been occurring and staff members that are being singled out, students that are being singled out, as my niece. And I think it's time that we need to protect our students. Sometimes we have to protect our students from their families. They may not appreciate that, but students have rights that will sometimes supersede parents' rights. That is California law. We live in California. We are on a reservation, yes, but we still follow California laws. When students aren't given the protections that they need, and staff members aren't given the protections to protect the students, what do? When we are not protecting students, we run the risk of all of the statistics that we all know about. Anxiety, depression, ultimately worse than that, suicide, lifelong bad choices made that will forever harm a family. So we need to, I think, acknowledge and accept that our students have rights, our staff members have rights under California law. We need to protect our students, we need to protect our staff from these people that believe that love is wrong.
So it's not anyone in particular, it's sort of the big scheme of things in the district.
It's happening in our community. It has been happening in our community. I have too many family members that have had to move away from our community because they were not supported by our community, our schools. And I don't want to lose any more family members.
And you know, we have to acknowledge them, you know.
Let's act on them.
I hear you. For that. And then the other posters over here are just generality sort of.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody watched the Super Bowl, but there was a Christian group that spent $20 million to tell people that Jesus is looking at them. They don't need to spend $20 million. They just need to have the Christian people not be horrible. Not think that whatever that is not in agreement with their beliefs is wrong. It's not. We all have the right to.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. On February 9th, the LCAP team for the district met with school support specialists from Humboldt County Office of Education on our LCAP plan summary and completing a goal analysis for next year. Takeaways from this meeting included analysis of our successes as well as our identified needs. Our successes include the rollout of a core reading program, Success for All at K-8 sites, The addition of a second safety officer in the district. Hoopa High School received a 6-year WASC accreditation. Our CTE building is on schedule to be finished this summer. Our dropout rate went from 13% to 6%. PBIS has been introduced to all sites. I said introduced, I didn't say implemented, I said introduced. Orleans received a silver medal award for implementation. Captain John High School received a bronze medal award, and we have a new data technician helping us roll out our multi-tiered system of supports this year. Our identified needs are, we need to adopt standardized instructional materials, including math and science, which we are working on the math currently. For K-8 schools, we need that. We need more of that. Ours are outdated, they're old, they don't even make them anymore. The need to recruit and retain highly qualified teachers and administrators using the No Child Left Behind criteria. And the need for higher attendance rates in our district for teachers and students, both groups, not just one. I've enclosed an LCAP timeline that I will be following with guidance from the Humboldt County Office of Education. We meet again regarding the LCAP on March 23rd, where we will update our goal analysis and include a template of actions. So at the back of my report for the community, I made extra copies. There is the timeline that I will be following with the town. We are right on schedule with that. The Board of Trustees, this group here, has been continuing with ongoing training from the National Center for Executive Leadership with Eureka City School Superintendent Fred Van Fleck. We spent 2 sessions rewriting our board protocols. So we are reading them very carefully. We are analyzing them. We are deciding if we can live with them, whether we need to change them, get rid of some of them to make them fit our unique district. So that's what's taken so. Normally it was going to be a 2-session, 8-hour thing that turned into now a 4-session, 4-hour thing each. Our next session will be March 20th and our last session will be April 5th. I feel that these have been informative and productive for all of us as we learn executive management and leadership styles. Very interesting. And I'd like to thank Tina for going to every single one. She doesn't have to, but she does, and she's learning a lot along with us. The elementary sites have been scheduling their TK and kindergarten registrations. Hoopa L's will be next Wednesday, the 22nd, in the gym. So if you have a TKer or a kindergartner and they're going to be coming next year, then that's the day for Hoopa L registration. Which pick will have theirs on February 28th. And when is yours, Jacqueline? I didn't quite catch you. Oh, you're pulling it through. She'll get back to us in her review. Okay. So far this year, we've had a full gamut of experiences. Okay, we started off with the wildfire, started us off, which changed our start date of school. The earthquake took out our power and caused us to file a J13A school closure form, which I believe will be approved tonight. The Valentine's snow day on 2/14 was another closure that prevented us from coming, all the roads, and prevented playoffs from happening. We'll be doing another form for that one. I'd like to thank all of you for being considerate and patient with me as we go through the myriad of paperwork. I call it the jungle of paperwork that's involved with day-to-day business. School closures probably. The district is going through some internal changes right now as we operate post-COVID and COVID funding goes away. So in the next couple of months, you will see that as that money has gone, like, for example, employees that catch COVID no longer get district funding to cover their absence while they have COVID. We used to have that, but now we don't. It used to be 10 days. They could just be gone. And now if you get it, you have to use your own personal leave. And if you don't have that leave, then you get docked without pay. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going. Sorry to say. As always, I will try to be as transparent as possible as we adapt to these changes and work together to create the best learning environments possible in this new day and age of public education. So, Any questions for me? Anything? Yes.
Do we have any type of cash on hand, money that can be used for the athletic program with the school? They had a tournament in Crescent City. They went to that. They were transported by the school for the school event. They had a game and another tournament in Willow Creek. There was 4 students that got stranded at the school because there was no transportation to take them to the game. I think one of the players, his parents squeezed the 4 in and took them, you know. I found out about it later because there was no phone contact between me and Tech Talk, and I met with him at the game and everything, and then, you know, picked it up from there. But sports transportation.
So these are elementary, middle school
Elementary,
students?
yeah, elementary.
Okay, well, depending on which site.
For the
as you
grade down
attend,
and
you're-
otherwise even the high school, but for my grandkids at the elementary school who are in the sports program there. I don't really agree with anything that goes on over the NF. That's totally different and everything, and I think it's a waste of school, valuable rest time when they're done with school. To go over there and, you know, but it's important to those who can't play over there, to play over there, okay? But that's on getting them there and back and forth. But when you have working parents for the school who can't go by that easy access and easy come and go, where is the school support for the athletic program?
Well, first I would probably ask, where's the coach? Because it's ultimately the coach's responsibility to transport all students. They have to be fingerprint cleared. They have to have driver's licenses that have no suspensions or DUIs or anything. Points
So
on
in
them.
their own, in
So-
their private vehicle or in a school?
They should have been issued a school vehicles. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
in
it's
this case,
for.
that didn't happen.
They needed to put in for a van and did you have some comment?
I will say that they can use, they have to get their private vehicles can be used. They have to go to the bus drive and have this cleared, but that
They
is
have
definitely a
$1
possibility.
million insurance or something
Yeah.
on it, right? If you buy a new vehicle, you're having to have higher
Yeah.
liability rates.
So you have to become a cleared driver and then you have to have your vehicle cleared as well to drive.
So in some instances,
Otherwise,
they could use their private vehicle. But it's not okay for any parent just to pick up your kid anywhere and say, oh, hey, jump in with me. That's unsafe. And you definitely have a complaint if that happened to your grandkids.
Yeah,
So we will get you the complaint form, okay, so you can fill it out. I heard there's a fundraiser, Kirsten, is that true, tomorrow for spaghetti
there's gonna be a
dinner?
spaghetti.
And that's supposed to raise money for things like you're talking about, but all of this should have been front loaded. It should have happened before the season, not after the season. Also, if they were able to charge like $1 at the door or something,
What
All
the
of
bus driver told me that was at the Willow Creek Elementary School during that tournament, to pick up kids there and transport them back to Hoopa for just normal school. And the after school program was that there was only 2 vans available, and at this time they didn't have 2 vans for them.
is that true, Missy?
District wide.
She's the transportation director.
So there
I'm
are some
asking.
things that are truthful and there are some things that are not. So there is some things that happen. We only have 6 vans in the district and it's district wide that get utilized. We try to service everybody and anybody, but a lot of things that are happening is we're learning after the fact and people are getting around us and doing things. And so people are not turning in their field trip requests on time. We don't learn of it until it's like done and
Did
happened.
you get field trip requests from the coaches at the?
And so I'm thinking that this might be a particular incident of like a week or so ago when Trinity Valley had their tournament is what it sounded like to me, and Hoopa Elementary might have attended.
My
And so-
opinion of it is, if you can get them to Crescent City, why can't you give them?
Yeah, so I would like to clear a little bit of that up. There was a van reserved for the 7th and the 8th grade team to utilize both of those vans. The 7th grade team never came and picked up their van and chose to do a different route. We learned about it after the fact. So there's always that side, and I'm sorry that I'm gonna blast it out there like that, but the coach should have came and picked up the van and not went on their own and took the students when there was a van available. We learned after the fact, and we wondered why nobody ever came and picked up the van. So there's that, and then there's also often sometimes shortages. We always try to put people in our vans and stuff versus the private vehicles. It's a huge liability. I don't like it. It often happens. There's an e-form that waives them to do it, even if you're their own parent taking them in their own car. People are not, they're skipping around that, and we learn of it after it. I've been trying to chase it. Tomorrow I have a Zoom meeting at 2:00 with the majority of the principals and the new coaches so that they understand the rule.
Will you please bring this issue up to them tomorrow? on
Yes,
your
I
Zoom?
will. That's why we're having a
Let them know
Zoom
that
tomorrow.
It's not ever okay to just.
It's not okay. It's a huge liability. And why would you want to drive your own vehicle when you have most of the time a transportation? They need to
Thank you for
use.
that. Yes, Lynn?
Are the coaches aware of it though? I mean, I don't know.
Most
Who
of the
trains
time
the
I work
coaches?
with the principals and that staff.
What were they aware of it?
Yep.
Teresa Montefront, yeah, in this
Yes,
case
they
they were,
are.
and Teresa Montefront is the like ad hoc athletic director, so she's not here, she's not able to come tonight.
So I have a question, Missy.
Yes.
A clarifying question. So say you're going to the Crescent City tournament and you're a parent and you want to take your own kid.
Yes.
You've got your own hotel room. And the reason I'm asking this is because I've done it.
Mhm.
That's okay, right?
Yes, but
This is
there's
not-
still an yes, you,
Sign a
but you
form.
have to still sign an e-form, and the e-form it's like a waiver that says you are taking your own child. It's supposed to be turned into the principal 3 days in advance with their signature that says that is how they are going. Even though it's your own baby that you're taking, you're still supposed to sign the form saying that's the way you're transporting your child.
Okay,
And if
so-
you're gonna take someone else's child, they also have to sign another form that says, I realize you're gonna ride with Martha today, but there's another form for that. And that's what's really been getting skipped around. And I'm aware of it, that it's happening a lot more than it needs to be. And so I'm addressing it. I realize there's a few new coaches, but I know there's a lot of new admin, so I know that this is why I'm having a meeting tomorrow, because it needs to happen and people need to take on that responsibility. That liability is huge. I don't
So Mr.
feel the
Brixton,
horns
did you
out.
want to ask-
Yeah, I was just saying, so I spend a lot of time dealing with
Yes,
Missy and because I do all the transportation stuff for the high school. And so I know a lot about the EB form and the EC form. And so, but even that, we still sometimes, I know just like a couple weeks ago, we had a student, it happens where students end up traveling and not filling out those forms. Unfortunately, coaches know, but sometimes, we have our high school age students sometimes will drive, not saying anything to anybody, so the coach doesn't even know until the student arrived at the game. So that does happen, unfortunately. But for the most part, we do a pretty good job communicating. The other thing I was gonna say is there's a lot of times when we don't have enough vans, but luckily, I communicate that with Missy often and I've probably rented, I don't know, 15 vans from Enterprise this year. It's just, it's part of the job. You have
It's
to,
always an option. We
you have
like
to
that.
communicate, a
Coaches
couple
do.
weeks in advance to know, if vans are gonna be available. That's why, I go over and meet with Billy and Missy weekly, if not every other day I'm over at there, just to make sure, vans are available. And when they're not, we have to get them. And so I don't know if they're, but I'm calling and talking, driving, picking up vans at Enterprise every couple weeks. It's just part of the job. So I think just
Yes.
making coaches
Thank
more
you.
aware
Yeah.
of that.
Missy, I would ask that, for next year, let's do this in August, September with the coaches, athletic directors and administrators, because we're at this point, I say we're in March and we have April, May and June. It will help for baseball and softball and golf and whatever else, or track. But let's not let this happen again next year when his grandchildren are in 8th grade and
We're reinventing the wheel again,
Mhm.
right? No, this should all, I agree with you. Front
I do
loading.
too.
Front
I
loading.
do. That's my.
Before I go on, yes, Rebecca, I'll call you, but feel free to get these chairs, people in the back that want to get up and, there's 2 over there and there's 2 right here. We can squeeze in. Okay, go ahead, Becky.
Darcy?
Oh, Darcy.
That's all right. My mom lost my. I think that you guys should also put that in intake form at the beginning of the year, so parents understand that they need to fill out the forms.
Yeah.
It is,
Without that-
those forms also are in the board, the packet that comes out to parents at the beginning of the year. The two forms that are in there, they are in the parents' packets that go home at the big packet that comes home at the beginning of the year.
We don't.
Those forms are in there as well. So they are there.
They're included in the high school.
Yeah, it's part
Yeah.
of this is people do turnarounds, like especially at elementary levels, the high school. We pretty much, they have an athletic director and all that. It mostly happens at elementary level when the turnaround of new coaches are coming in, stuff like that. But it is being addressed highly right now. And I'm gonna it's gonna get there. It's gonna get done. I'm also tired of it getting around, and I'm gonna be beating the doors down of the admins because that's where it starts at. So
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for that. All right, I'm finished.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I had some questions that I wanted to ask the board about state law AB 1266. Would this be an appropriate time to ask these? I wasn't sure of the format with the town hall. Is it? So state law AB 1266, as I understand it, talks about like that school districts are required to teach about LGBTQ and two-spirit contributions in their communities. That law, as I understand it, also requires staff to be educated about students' rights, so that like all students have a right to not, if they are identifying as LGBTQ or two-spirit, that they actually are protected by the law to confidentiality. So LGBTQ, 2S is lesbian, gay, transgender, queer, two-spirit. That's like the big long acronym. You could just say queer. But
What is your question regarding that?
so my questions are this. I'm wondering what school board policies could we have to ensure that we're in compliance with AB 1266 district-wide? And I know you might not be able to answer this now.
We do contract with Humboldt.
Yeah, well, we're doing a number of things this year, more than any other year. And as far as it being in the school board policies, I'd have to refer to Dana to look up the policies, and then we can bring it back to you
Okay. Thank you.
at our next meeting, so we can all read it and have another reading of it. But, I really believe that we are definitely meeting above and beyond the compliance in that area in our district.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have,
Dina, yes.
we may be in compliance at one site. We are in denial at other sites. And maybe in other sites just aren't aware that in 2016, this law was passed. We are in 2023. And to my knowledge, Hoopa L had a program, but I think it's kind of fizzled out. Hoopa High has an active program under attack right now. And as far as the other schools, I am not aware of anything being addressed other than negativity.
Okay, well, I do know that Lark Doolin, who is the executive director of Queer Humboldt, has a contract with us to do professional development at each of the sites. He has freed up his calendar and said, I'm available for any of the staff meetings, professional development. I'm doing. Yeah.
You can pay me, but unless I ask you to come. You're just gonna pay me for.
I have to-
Availability.
I have to add on to that for what I just said about, the little girl that's telling everyone that one of my granddaughters is a lesbian. It's a two-edged sword there. I don't want my family and to think that a lesbian is a bad word and that she should be feeling bad because someone is saying that at fourth grade level and we're trying to get out of that, and then it's being allowed over at the elementary school that you're teaching our kids that it's a bad thing when it's allowed for someone to be bullying and saying these things too. So to me, with my family, we're trying to say, we're not no judge of anyone's life, and what I'm saying is this, we need to stop this type of behavior at our elementary school because we're really confusing those babies of what is right and wrong, and there is, we're trying to get up and teach them that. Let people become let them be who they are. And then maybe we wouldn't have to read about all the suicides and things like that. It's hard.
Okay, I
have two questions. One is, I'm aware that professional development is being offered to people.
Any site, any school site having staff meeting or professional development. That's how the contract reads with them this year.
Okay, are people required to go? Because my understanding is it's made optional. And so people who have a particular unease or bias about learning about validating that there is such a thing as an LGBTQ community, that community is protected under the law, that they should not be harassed or bullied or otherwise, complained about, whatever. If not all staff and administrators are required to avail themselves of that professional development opportunity, what happens is you end up preaching to the choir. The people who already are supportive get more and more and more supportive, and the people who aren't say, I'm really not comfortable talking about stuff like that, and they avoid it. So it doesn't really change the conditions within the school. It doesn't affect the people who most need to be affected. So I would just encourage you to require them to have at least a certain number of hours, at least a certain kind of basic training on this subject, because otherwise they can just be in blissful ignorance and harming people. My second point is this. We have a community here, a fairly sizable one. I know so many of its members. And if you don't take a zero tolerance stance, you're going to hurt so many people. Maybe there's a situation now that came up with some specific people, but so many people will be hurt. This can become a very divisive issue in our community, and it doesn't need to be, because you have the law. You can be in compliance with the law. You're required to be, and that's the stand we take. People can put their own personal differences aside when it comes to how we treat people within the school system, within the school premises. And I'm really, really concerned as a lifetime community developer. I spent my whole life in, tribal development, social and economic development, all kinds of development. Some issues can be really divisive. And this is one. And that's why the state of California has gone so far in creating more and more and more laws to protect people. And I'm really concerned that this can hurt old people, young people, middle-aged people, so many people.
Sue, I really want you to clarify what you just said, because you said a zero tolerance position, and you need to clarify that, because on YouTube, I think that could be misunderstood.
What does YouTube have to say about zero tolerance?
Are you saying that we should have zero tolerance for?
I'm saying anytime you're aware that the ed code, and there are several of them, is not, that you're not in compliance, that bullying is occurring unaddressed, that harassment is occurring unaddressed, that people are being labeled or name called or, whatever, called out
So you're
And
saying zero tolerance in opposition to the law?
we're not gonna tolerate,
I just
we're
want to
not gonna
clarify.
tolerate non-compliance with the law. I'm just saying comply with the law.
That's
And
what I'm
then everyone is protected. But when people can act out of compliance with the law and that behavior is tolerated, that's why you have to stop tolerating, and it is being tolerated because people aren't comfortable. They don't know what to say when they witness something. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do, and they just kind of pretend like they didn't hear it or they didn't see it. You know, that can't happen. That hurts somebody. And these kids go home from school and they tell their parents and their grandparents, "You won't believe what somebody said to me today." And if you say back to them, "That's against the law. Why isn't somebody stopping it?" I don't know, but it keeps happening, you know, and that's the report. It hurts people, lots of people.
Okay, we have a couple of people that have.
So I can't speak for all schools, but I do know that the high school is having Mark Newlands come in once a month. He speaks at our staff meetings. I can't say that all staff members always attend those, but it is in their contract that they are supposed to attend. I would say we get about 90% attendance to most of our staff meetings. There is an occasional person that doesn't attend, but our staff is pretty much required to attend those trainings from Mark, and he does come once a month.
Well, if you know that someone's missing, then you know who's not compliant.
Sure, yeah.
And action can be taken to
Yeah.
get them in.
And I do think we're trying at the high school to comply. And that, like I said, we've had he's on our campus once a month. You know, right from Bert Humboldt and you know our staff.
Okay, she was first. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I know that LARC is offering training specific for administrators because there's two parts and I've been to one. The second one is multiple dates. It's an hour and a half, and it was, you know, information that was designed for administrators. So I particularly thought it was valuable, and I hope that other administrators in the district also can.
Okay, Lynn had a comment.
Yes, last year at the high school, we had a substitute, so we needed to have them take some training too, tell the kids it was a sin to be gay, as well as the only true religion was Christianity, including Native American. So as long as we're doing, you know, staff, we need to do our subs too, especially subs that come on a lot.
Well, I just have a comment to make. Is everyone that believes that gay people are such a sin whenever a young person hangs himself or shoots himself, do they clap their hands? You know, they'd have to wonder about those kind of people. If that is their philosophy in life, you know. I question that, you know. And
Okay, thank you for all your comments, and we're gonna get ripping on the community.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make a comment to the community and let you know that in our comprehensive school safety plan that we are in draft form tonight looking at, we do have discrimination and harassment AR 5145.3, BP 5145.7, AR 5145.7 that addresses Loma and others, the stance that the district takes on harassment, and it does include transgender and community. What Mr. Lewis has brought up to our attention and many others is policy, and are we following it? And I guess that's where it comes down to it. But it is written for us. So we're aware, we have document. We support your comment of A B 1266 that correlates with what I just said. So I hope that eases your mind for the moment. If Mr. Lewis were in this room, I would hope to convince him that we will follow policy.
thank you.
Does the policy cite the law?
Yes.
So to expedite our meeting a little bit so we can move on to closed session, I'm going to ask for Captain John February board report. And you could just kind of.
So we're not reading the report. I got you. Don't even like. You're good.
Let them eat. Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, help yourself to the food, everybody sitting there, and so we're gonna eat while we listen, right? Okay. Okay, come up here to the podium. Yeah. William's gonna be louder than you.
You're darling.
You do now.
We're excited to announce that we graduated 7 students. We've had a small ceremony. Thank you, Mr. Hilton, for coming and showing support for the students that get their diplomas. We have 3 students newly enrolled at College of the Redwoods this semester. We're very excited for those students. We're thankful to the College of the Redwoods. I want to get the right name, program, because they came to our school and helped our students to enroll, and they also gave us books for their classes. And so we're really thankful to that. I think it's the HP. Parent Technical Education Program. Thank you very much. I'm very, very thankful to them. They're very, very motivated to our students, and our students are, the 3 students that are enrolled there are taking the college success class. So that, yeah, it's wonderful. And pretty much that's what I have to say today. So if there's any questions.
DJ, any questions? Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Safe travels. Well, she has, game and.
Oh, yes.
Be shy, come on up.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm just gonna be brief. I'm gonna read my report because, and I can talk.
Yay.
I almost lost my voice. I've been really trying hard. But it didn't happen this time. So, good evening, everybody. I just want everyone to know that March is the National School Nutrition Month. And I feel like it'd be really cool if people will go into our cafeterias, whatever school your kids go to, and just go thank your lunch ladies or men, some men, one man. And, just let them know that you appreciate that they're feeding your kids and they're feeding them with care. A lot of us cook from scratch. Most of our food is from scratch. So they deserve your support and encouragement, and I'd appreciate it. So we got some money from the state, and I'm able to send a lot of our cooks down to Sacramento for a training in scratch cooking that will use local produce, local freshly procured, like we can use salmon here at our school, things like that. So we're going to go to a training and learn how to make recipes that are approved by Child Nutrition and use in our cafeteria. So I'm pretty excited about that training. And then the last thing I want to touch on is our local school wellness policy committee. We're meeting in March, on the 15th of March, and we would really like more community members to come and participate with us to work on our local school wellness policy, get the draft in so we can get it approved by the board in June. And I have tried to encourage the high school and Captain John to send some students over to that committee to get their input as well. That's what we're working on. Anybody have any questions? When you have your meeting, can you make sure it's posted?
Yes.
On the school website or someplace where.
We put it in the newspaper, and there's flyers up around the communities that we serve.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to include some flyers at the high school
And we, elementary school kids can join in too, but specifically, we like high school kids.
Elementary school parents.
Parents and grandparents and community members, that's the goal, is to have as much input as we can get. So that we have a policy that covers our area and the desires of our area. Any other questions?
Oh, Lori has a question.
I was just wondering, because I know you want to have the high school students there, but your meeting starts at 3:30 and they're in school till 3:40. So do they get dismissed from school to go to a committee meeting like this, or how does that work?
That's a good point. I myself, I'm not an administrator at any of the high school or the continuation high school. I feel like they should get extra credit for it. I feel like there should be some incentives.
That's a good idea.
And that would be one of the incentives, is to let them out early to pay.
But if it's a certain class, the student may not want to have to miss.
Yeah, and we could.
Hey, thank you, Becky. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Good work. Walt Simpson here.
Yes,
PSEA representative anywhere? Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Said she had to go to figure something out and she'll be back.
Okay, so
All
lower
right, that's behind.
next day.
So I'll be brief. This is my first board report. I don't know if it was included in the actual packet, but I did. Include one.
Copies for everyone.
Yeah, I did put out copies for everybody.
So you don't have to read it now.
No, I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna let everybody know. I'm doing my best. This is my first one because I'm kind of in a dual role now.
Yes.
Kind of working as a vice principal, but kind of as acting principal right now. So things are going pretty good at the high school. I included most of the stuff in the board report. The only thing I kind of just want to talk briefly about is some sports stuff, because that's kind of my focus area. Last night, basketball season ended for all of our teams. We had our girls made it to NCS playoffs. They were expected to play, their game was scheduled for the 14th, but due to the snowstorm, that got pushed back a day to the 15th. Luckily, Head Royce agreed to still play the game. So our team went down and played last night, and they lost 60-45. So the only winter sport we still have going now is wrestling, and they are on their way today down to James Logan High School for the boys and Albany High School for the girls for their NCS meet. We had 11 NCS qualifiers, pretty amazing on a team that I think had 18 participants, 11 qualified for sections, which means you had to finish top 3 in the HDN. So, and that's not just the little 4, that's all the schools. So the big 5, including Delmore, who has a very powerful wrestling program. We were able to finish first in I think 6 or 7 different weight classes. So the boys are going down. Last year we had one wrestler make it to state. He's returning to this meet, so he's likely to go to state. But we have 2 other wrestlers that are highly ranked and have a good chance of making it to state. So we'll have to find out after this weekend if they're headed down. If they do make it, they'll be going down. Not this weekend, but the following week to Bakersfield. And then our spring sports are pretty much in full swing. All 4 have started practice. Track, golf, softball, and baseball. And our softball team starts with the Jamboree tournament this weekend as well. So getting right into it, and baseball and track and golf will all start tournaments and games in March. So any questions?
Questions for the high school? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Are we still doing swim of the month? I haven't seen anything.
I know that through I think January, it's been posted at the high school. Yes, I don't know if there's been a February one yet, but they are posted up through at least through.
Mr. Anderson.
Oh, do the paper this week.
Yeah.
Ethan Anderson. Okay, yeah, he was the most recent. Yes.
I have a compliment for Hoop Behind. He's 6, especially my grandson Elijah is at Irvine. He scored the highest in his English class. His best friend there has gone private school the whole way, but Elijah was prepared. 6 did a good job, and high school did a good job.
Thank you. That's fine.
That's it. I want to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate the energy that you're putting in and the commitment. So.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No.
They got to me, sorry. I apologize. I had to go pick up my son. He's doing workability and he works at ACES. So wants to be a future school psychologist probably. So I had to go pick him up. I'm sorry. I know. I apologize. I did not turn in a board report, but I looked over Teresa's and Craig's. A couple of things I can add is we had our district-wide spelling bee yesterday, and we have 2 students who are going to go to county. One from Trinity Valley and one from a 5th grader from Hoopa L. So that is super exciting. Next week we have our TK and kindergarten registration. So we're going to have it in the gym. We're going to have tables. Families can come in and register. The nurse will meet with families so they know what kind of information they need to have to bring their children and enroll them in school. And then Miss Moon is more than likely going to be our teaching teacher. So she and I are going to do some quick assessments on the kids when they come in. And that's going to be next week. And then we also have Quack and Rabbit, which is a puppet show that comes from the coast for kindergarten through 3rd grade. They're going to come and do a performance called Froggy and the Ribbons Speak Out. So anyway, lots of fun stuff going on. We are in the process, like Jennifer said, that PBIS has been introduced. We're going to have our first like full team meeting early next March to get some PBIS stuff rolled out. I'm trying to think, I'm still subbing a lot. Today I was in a junior high classroom for the day, and Lisa Mondragon was in a 6th grade classroom. And when we have a lot of teachers out at once, we still unfortunately have to split some classes up. It's not happening as often, but it's still happening. And I know the board's going to be talking about sub pay. So fingers crossed, I hope it works out that we can try to attract more people. What else? Just again, continuing to support our special ed staff and our high need students, especially those with behavior plans, and working on making sure that kids get appropriate assessments, even after they've been assessed, maybe making referrals to like a diagnostic center or a regional center so we can get more information to give them better support in the school environment and make things safer and better for them and for their peers, and they can experience positive inclusion. I guess that's kind of it. Do you have any questions?
Yes, go ahead, Tina.
Okay.
Site council. I know your site council meeting was canceled because of another meeting involving a student matter.
Was that the
Again, it's
February
March.
meeting? Was that the February meeting was canceled?
Correct.
Okay.
So we have not had a site council meeting yet. At one meeting where there was myself, my sister, and 2 people by phone, along with Dr. Kimball.
Okay.
I was voted as the chair of the site council so we could get our school plan approved. Okay. I said I would take that position until we could get parents to come and have it better represented, I would hope, by a parent than by somebody who hasn't gone to a site council meeting in 30 years. We need to get that happening. We need to, again, just as I asked Missy, I'm going to ask every site principal to get it together a little sooner. It's March and we don't have a sitting site council.
Because I apologize, I wasn't at the last site council meeting because I had a family conflict, but was there a date set for the next meeting? Okay, I will look into that. Okay.
My next thing is the behavior plans, and I just happened to go by, something you didn't report. We had students at Hoopa L, and I'm not sure who they were. I did not get them identified, but I had talked to Dr. Kimball. I asked him if he could make Valentines for our participants at senior nutrition. And through his work with the staff, he was able to give me over 100 Valentines to give to the people at senior nutrition, which was awesome. You know, not just the participants, but the staff members were happy. We're very happy. So that's a big plus for, you know, getting something accomplished. But so I'm going to go pick those things up, and I have one nephew sitting in the office in this corner and one nephew sitting in the office in this corner. I get my belongings and I speak to Brandis. I say, do I dare ask why my nephews are here? Well, they didn't know why one was. They think he hurt himself, but he hasn't really said anything, and he's been sitting there. The other one was sent out of his classroom. And I don't know how long he sat there. I don't know how long either of them sat there before I got there. I made their parents, their family members aware. I don't know what happened beyond that. I don't know, like I said, if they sat there all day from 11:30, 12 o'clock to the end of the day.
So typically when kids come up when they're injured, somebody will call and say, like, I'm sending so-and-so, they're injured, or they're sick and we need to.
There's a parent contact me as well.
Yeah, if they have to go home, yeah, like if they have a fever or they're vomiting or they want to go home because they've really hurt themselves badly, yes. If, you know, they come up and they say like, oh, I was playing and, you know, the ball got me in the head and maybe they were upset at first, we'll keep them and monitor them and check in with them. And sometimes they're like, I'm ready to go back. And so they're allowed to go back and their teachers know. With discipline, depending on the grade, fourth grade. Okay. So typically with that, that may have been a day there was a group. So we did talk to them and find out what was going on. I believe if it's the situation I'm thinking about, I believe
I don't know if it's a situation.
I don't know. I'm not sure either.
Other than me telling my family members, nobody from the elementary school told my family members.
I have to jump in here yet because I informed you, and you didn't know anything about it, and you had to go find out.
Yes. Probably because I was subbing in a classroom and stopped by the office to get something, which happens when I'm in, you know, a classroom, I'm the teacher for the day. And then I did, and then I called you back on it and I let you know. You remember that conversation?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes, ma'am. I remember it too. About.
I don't want to talk about it here.
Okay. We can get it another time. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
That could be another conversation.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Kirsten.
Thank you for the report.
I have a question for you, and I hate to ask you this because you're the only administrator from the house,
Yes.
and I know this is not your job. But if you could look at your processes and maybe the implementation of what's happening on the playground, because I had a great grandma text me this morning about concerns about her child on the playground, and a grandma texted me, and then a mom called about the yard duty people being on their phones, looking at Facebook or whatever it is, social media, while they're supposed to be monitoring and supervising children. So maybe we revamp the policy, or we just make sure that it's being implemented.
Yes, have another
And
discussion.
I'm so sorry because I didn't want to say anything, but.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
It's an ongoing process and it's good to know because when we, you know, if we see that, we say something like, hey, remember thrown away, we're setting an example for the children, you know.
I think you might need to go as far as saying you need to turn your phones off or, you know, something like that, because I know that when I was on campus, I did staff on their phones, safety officer on their phone. And so I think maybe it's something that really needs to be looked at.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was, again, the dinner tomorrow night, the science fair. Having the notice posted yesterday for an event on Friday, I would hope that you guys could could give more advance notice.
Okay, have it posted.
These things happen annually.
Mhm,
It's not a surprise,
mhm.
so we should be able to. Okay, like I said, I'm already in March. Look at March and say, what are the events that we need to be talking about?
Posted soon. Okay, thanks, Tina. I appreciate that.
Oh, my comment was, sorry.
Sorry,
My
ma'am.
comment was, I have been working with regional center to try to bring more diversity to from them. They're doing a diversity project to bring more services out here. So if we get enough people interested, and I also do intake forms for them. I got applications if anybody needs them. I have them on file. And also I do a Brighter Futures Parent Support Group for support for people and parents with families that have special needs members. And if you guys would like to, I could share that with you. Our next one is in March. And so I just wanted people to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Thank you. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to apologize. I just got here. I had to go to the coast and pick up medication, but I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so would you like to do your?
Unfortunately, I didn't have time to stop, pick up a copy of my board report and I borrowed.
Where you can just summarize.
Yeah.
It's summarized in your.
Okay, thanks. I had to race, I raced here as quick as I could.
Go ahead, I'll find it.
Okay. Actually, I really need it because it's been a so.
We understand, Ms. Monaghan, but if you could summate that, that's fine too. You know, the idea here of town meeting is you meet your community
Thank
and
you.
you share your highlights.
Yeah, I got it. Really much. I appreciate it. Hi, my name is Teresa Mondragon. I'm assistant principal at Hoopa Elementary. I apologize for being a bit late. I had to run to the coast and pick up meds and really I'm surprised I'm back this early, honestly. So I wanted to say that I'm glad to be able to attend tonight. As you know, I have Tuesday night classes, so there's some nights I can't attend, but due to Mother Nature, here I am. So I wanted to talk about January. The boys basketball got off to a roaring start, and we had enough players for a 7th and an 8th grade team. Parent contact days were held about 3 weeks ago, January 25th, 26th. And we had a really good turnout for the upper grades teachers. A big shout out to Miss Milner, who met with 16 out of 18 families. And I think that was an outstanding turnout for her. And I'm sure that was her efforts. So I wanted to shout out to her. We had a math pilot materials were made available for public viewing on 2 separate occasions. The first was on family contact day, so that in hopes that more of our community members would be on campus. Unfortunately, a lot of our teachers said, hey, we were so busy in conferences, we didn't get a chance to really look at them. So I put them out again for the teachers and submitted the survey results to Karen, who's running the project. Ms. Tina West just recently completed a week of professional development in our SFA reading program and returned to share her new knowledge supporting teachers in our reading improvement efforts. February basketball season is in full swing, and both teams recently played in a tournament in Crescent City. We also, subsequent to this report writing, we also played in a tournament at Trinity Valley. The big one, the JC's tournament, lies ahead in the first week of March, and it looks like we're set to qualify for that. ASB is planning a pep rally and a school dance, and they held that, and it was successful. The school science fair is this Friday. In addition, we're having a spaghetti feed to help fundraise for the 7th grade boys basketball team. So those events will be going on at the same time. Also, a late addition is we have quite a bit of surplus sports uniforms, but not enough to outfit anyone. There's like 3 of this and 2 of that, but there's still good jerseys. So we're going to sell off some of that sports equipment to buy new equipment because there's not enough to do anything with the old equipment anyways, but I think it'll still be useful and it's fun swag for the kids to have. They're already looking and wanting to know how much we're going to charge. So hopefully there'll be a good turnout for that as well. Let's see. Shout out to Scotty, who's been super helpful to me in getting the PBIS up and running, and to Maggie, who's been sharing documents with me. I do struggle a little bit with the Google Docs, but I'm coming along with that.
And finally, I know I brought up my athletic director duties in the past. I have to say, much to my surprise, it's kind of grown on you. And some of the players actually taught me how to run the scoreboard, so I got to do that for a game. It was really fun. So sports is picking up, and yes, that's really all for my report. You would have any comments or questions for this wonderful? Yes.
We addressed it earlier, but some of your seventh grade team caught rides up with people. The parents didn't know they were catching rides with them. So I think you need to do a little
Tightening up.
tightening, yeah.
We're having a meeting, safety and transportation tomorrow, and I
But were
said,
you aware of it?
not at the time. Well, I was aware that she didn't pick up the van, so I tried to chase her down, but I just missed her. I did go to the Trinity Valley tournament to deliver the permission slips that she's supposed to have. She does have them. I missed her. The game was already over by the time I got over there and they had left. But they now have the forms that they're supposed to have. And she's been advised that these forms must be signed in order to transport even your own child. We still have to have a record of it. So that has been provided to the coach and has been explained to her. In addition, there's a meeting at 2 p.m. Thank you for Missy for organizing that, and the coaches have been invited to that, as have I. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the save.
Excuse me. What? Before I start, I wanted to check in with Miss Tina to make sure that you were provided the site council materials. You still haven't seen that. I will let you know.
My email, you can email it to me.
Okay, the site council plan was all but voted on last year. So you do know that, or you didn't know that before?
No.
Okay, I'll hand you my pen after you're done. You know. Thanks for letting me be here tonight. In addition to the probably too long of a report that I sent to you, I just wanted to add a couple of things. One that I forgot, and a couple of updates on what I had on there. CASP interim testing is almost over. We will have our window closing tomorrow, the 17th. We did an extension for one of the sites where they ran into some technical difficulties, but once those interim reports have those interim tests have all been finished, we'll have our baseline data for our summative tests at the end of the year. We didn't have very many hitches with all the different interfaces that we have to use to get uploaded into our Tom system from this system from that system. We did have a couple of hiccups, but it went fairly smooth. As of yesterday, the grant templates and official requirements were released by the CDE for the community schools grant. And I'll put this, it's going to be a lot of work. So I've been working with Jack Morellis and Jory McComas on organizing that material. I'm happy to say that we know we have as much data as we need for that information. I wanted to thank Melissa and a couple of the other administrators for sending these things over to us. And in fever pitch, I got quite a bit just today alone, but we have a lot more to go. So that's great. We have until March 24th to get the proposal in, and if we do get that planning grant, then we go to start moving forward for more planning and implementation. So we're going to do a bare bones proposal that we'll be able to edit. So that's exciting. It'll be bringing just under $6 million to the district over the course of the next 5 years. So good things are going to come from that. We were scheduled to have our first community advisory committee for that this evening, but with the snowstorm and rescheduling this meeting, we went ahead and pushed it till next Wednesday after I was reminded that we're off on Monday and Tuesday. So we will be meeting next Tuesday here in the boardroom at next Wednesday here in the boardroom at 5:30. What's up, little man? He's gonna play with the whiteboard chemicals down here. Probably don't want that. Like a sippy cup. I don't want to steal any of the other administrators who are yet to share his thunder, but I did have the pleasure of working with our Success for All program and pulling some of the data that they needed for our multiple measures for our reading scores. And I'm just going to leave it that I'll let a fellow administrator brag about that. But I just wanted to say that it was pretty magical watching the faces of the administrator and SFA facilitator at that site when the scores came out. So Congratulations. It's been a bang up job. And lastly, we submitted our final upload to MMARS, which is going to be consolidating a lot of the data that I've been data. Submitted the last of the scores to them day before yesterday. They're going to be producing a report that will be presented to the board, hopefully at the next meeting. I just reporting with Jennifer about that, and that'll show us span of our testing scores in reading, math, and language usage over the last 3 years, minus the COVID years. So then the last thing was, and Jennifer already touched on this, we can started working the LCAP, and again, more data, more stuff, more reports to send out. So that'll be our big document. And all right. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jacqueline. Can you do that?
Good evening, Jacqueline McCullough, New Valley Principal. Okay, goodness at my school, there's lots of it. The spelling bee was great, hosted by Guka L. That was fun. I have a kid that's going to be going to county, or an 8th grader who went to state in 6th grade, and it got canceled due to COVID, and she was crushed. And so I'm like really pulling for her this year because she wants it so bad. She practices these words like all year. I've never seen a kid do this for spelling, and like through the summer. And so but all of the competition in our district was pretty exciting to watch. So we have some great spellers at all our points. My science fair is February 28th. Looking for judges if anybody wants to come down and judge that day. Kinder Roundup is March 16th. And then a really fun event that we have planned. It's fun. Dr. Seuss Day, or Read Across America Day, is March 2nd. It's always March 2nd. And we're going to have, we've been inviting community members and parents to come in and read on the hour to all the K through 5th grade classes. We're going to have birthday cakes for Dr. Seuss at lunch. And we're going to end that day with a rally because it's going to be Spirit Week that week for Crescent City. So it's going to be a fun week and a busy day that day. I'm excited about that. Our tournament was good. It was really, really good. It was neat because we had all of our local schools. You know, Jack Norton has a team, Orleans, Hoopa, our school, Burnt Ranch. But we also had like Crescent Elk was there, a school from Fortuna was there. So it was really fun. And they were really well matched games. So it was, anybody that watches sports knows it's a lot more fun when they're on the same level, you know, as like a wipeout. Nobody really wants to watch that. It was so much fun. It was fun. We had a game between Hoopa L and Trinity Valley that it was just fun to watch the kids because they were out there. A lot of them are like related to each other or friends, and they're like, you know, giving each other a hard time and laughing and smiling. And it just, the banter was really cool. It was really sweet to watch. And Hoopa L took first place, Trinity Valley took second, and then Crescent Elk and Burnt Ranch were third and fourth. Josh Moon scored 8 3-point shots. I've not seen a kid do something like that in a junior high tournament. So he was pretty awesome. He was the MVP for the whole tournament. He's from Hoopa L. So, and so I guess, again, big successes at our school goes back to reading again. Scotty was starting to spill the beans a little bit, and I should have prepared something to show you guys, although next month, I believe, we're going to do a presentation for you guys so you can really see numbers, because last month I talked about SFA and how proud I was of the reading changes, the increases that we saw, and that was really neat, but that was all based off of like SFA assessment. This time it was a MAP assessment. And so we're comparing our students to other students across the nation. And just to give you an idea, we were looking for students in the 40th percentile or higher. And last year, a year ago, just to give you an idea, 33% of our first grade class was at the 40th percentile or higher. This year, one complete year later, from winter to winter, 22 to 23, 50%. So 33 to 50%. Second grade, 31% to 68%. Every kid in our second grade scored at or above grade level. It was unbelievable, super exciting. Third grade, 40% to 75, and so on. And so it's really exciting We have more stats to kind of share with you guys, but I think next board meeting we'll have that ready for you. Some visuals and stuff. So yeah, really excited about that. I know we're getting ready to adopt math. The biggest thing that I've noticed as an educator is that our teachers have really benefited from the coaching that we've had with SFA. That has been huge. And as a teacher, I think about, you know, how awesome it is to have somebody come in and say, okay, you're doing this good, but what about doing this? Or to be able to bounce things off them. Like, I don't know about this. How should I teach this? That has been so beneficial at our site. And I'm really hoping that we can think, our district can think about doing that in other areas, especially math. I think it would help us so much. I don't know if there's other programs that necessarily are like that, but just that coaching model is really beneficial. So that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks. Jason.
Hindu, you're up, brother.
All right. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna be very short.
Okay.
Thanks, Scotty, for collecting data for us. I really want to thank Hoop Elementary organizes the basketball tournament. My kids had a great time there, and Jacqueline at Trinity Valley had an awesome time. That was just phenomenal for my Jack Morton basketball team. Probably the best things that's going on at Witchpeck right now is we have a one-on-one aid sub that's really helping in the classroom with a student. And so that is very helpful at Witchpeck. This is all I want to say. Last year, we had 1 out of 13 kids at the 60% proficient level in reading. This year, we had 5 out of 13, 60% proficient in the reading. Last year, we had 1 out of 13 at the 70% proficiency level in reading. And this year, we have 3 out of 13 at the 70% proficiency level reading. So I've always spoken to you that my teachers and staff say SFA, anecdotally, they can see that kids are doing better. But now with the SFA coordinator, Scotty, and the collection of data, we can really see results from SFA and our students reading. So that's the exciting stuff.
Okay.
Any questions?
We send our great respect and sincere admiration to Teacher McKinnon and Teacher Schaefer down there and put the report. I mean, wow.
Yeah, shout out to Rodney McKinnon. A lot of times he's an island unto himself down there, and Hunter is just right. I mean, they do a fantastic job. So yeah.
He's also a great coach too.
Yeah.
The tournament. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great coach. The kids really respect him, and we had a lot of fun. It was a great tournament. And the Hoopla Trinity Valley game, you don't watch NBA games like that. I am not kidding. The one I saw, the 4 o'clock one. I don't know how later when the 4 o'clock one was.
It was the best game of the day.
37-40 Hoopla. It was amazing. So great tournament.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm here to give you a few updates regarding the wellness system and the wellness center. I'm working very closely with the California Healthy Kids Survey and launching that district-wide. Templates for tracking, for letters, for robo-text messages and calls. We have consent forms. We are up and ready to roll that out. Our target timeframe is February through May. That information was released to the administrators approximately 2 weeks ago. Really looking forward to seeing our schools and students get excited about participating so that we have an opportunity to hear their voice. I also released all of the information regarding the California School Staff Survey, and been recently working with Scotty, and Jennifer to support efforts in giving, administrators maximum opportunity to implement those throughout the district. I'm also really super excited to share with you that I was contacted by West Ed. They are working with the California Children's Youth and Behavioral Health Initiative, and they want to feature kind of Trinity, our district, in a case study. So they have reached out and asked me to prepare some responses to some questions and just to learn more about how we are providing behavioral health support and grading in partnerships in order to provide support for our students throughout the district. That's going to be upcoming on March 1st. They're going to give us an opportunity to preview the case study before it's published, but I am excited to report that was something that we were honored with. I'm also working very heavily on the wellness website. I am hoping that it's going to be published, at least the first section of it, in about a week and a half. The contractor is going to continue to build that information out and the resources moving forward. But we're going to go ahead and launch everything that we've already prepared. Also want to invite the board to visit the Wellness Center. For some of you, you're very familiar with the Wellness Center. For others, it may be a new experience. There's been lots of changes over the last year since I've been there. And I'm really excited about the work that we're doing in our 4 core areas, whether it's mental health or sexual health or physical health. So I invite you to stop by. You're going to be charged with the responsibility of looking at staffing for next year. My position and another wellness position are funded by ESSER 3 funds. And so right now, that is a core part of personnel that is coordinating support services for our district. So I welcome you to visit our wellness center, to learn more about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and more importantly, have opportunities to ask questions if there's anything that you're curious about. With that, I'd like to open up for questions.
Am I to understand that the superintendent is your direct supervisor?
That's correct.
Okay. So you would not be taking any direction from any school site administrators on the materials that you share with the students?
That I don't know.
As far as being directed to, like, I want Terry to do this and only this. I want Terry to hand out this type of information only.
No, no. So I work in partnership with lots of folks, right? But it's a partnership, but my directives come to the superintendent.
So if somebody were to say that you were promoting bad behavioral health information or incorrect safe sex information, they would be incorrect.
I don't know, because I'm not sure. That's never been a comment that has been delivered to me. So I don't know.
It's my understanding that there is a community belief that specific administrators are directing you to provide information to students.
No.
Thank you.
We have a consultant through Swell. It's a contract, and I'm being advised by that contractor. I don't ever remember a time in the last year that I've worked for the Wellness Center that an administrator has given me any guidance related to any publication or materials that I've released at any time.
Sure.
Now, if it has happened, it has not come to my attention.
It hasn't happened. What I understand is the material that you are distributing to the students and make available, the services that you make available to the students are very much needed in this area. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank you.
She's in New York.
Oh,
I don't like them either.
Thank you for having me, CM and Fitness and Operations Director for the district. I hear some comments in the community and very valid, and I hear you, and we're gonna fix those comments. I had the privilege, you guys got my board report. I'll add more things to it as they change monthly. Some things will remain the same, some things are gonna change, but some of the issues of the students not being able to get there and people sneaking around is going to come to an end. So we are going to fix that, and we're working very hard on fixing that. So I hear that loud and clear. I want to give big shouts out to my staff. As you know, we do custodians, we do bus drivers, we do all of it. So we hold the forts down for everybody in every way that there is to hold them down. And that is not me. That is my staff that work very hard at trying to provide. Right now, we're doing a little bit of vandalism in our beautiful facilities, which really hurts me. So I'm hoping that they're working with my admins and my team to help start getting those addressed, because I don't want them tore down. So we need to hold them accountable, and if they got to start scrubbing those walls and helping our custodians, they need to start doing that, because we're not going to tear those down. On the flip side of that, we got my trainer, our bus driver trainer. He's got 3 students in class right now. They are finishing up the portions of the paperwork and all of the training part of it, the in-classroom training, which is over 20 hours or more, as he feels needed, if they're not quite ready to even make the next step yet. So far, we had 4 in there in the beginning, and we're still sticking strong with 3 in there right now. So I'm hoping that we're gonna get a couple more bus drivers added to us. As you know, we run 12 routes district-wide with 8 bus drivers. And so that means we're doubled every day. So there's no wiggle space for anybody to take time off. When they do, we have a domino effect of another double, triple, and we're still being able to provide the services that we need. It makes it a little harder. It makes it a bigger challenge, but we haven't had to not, but one time have one time when we couldn't make it down Jack Norton area. This year we've done pretty good, and we've been making it. So it's hard. It's a struggle in there, but we are making it. But I will be glad to see another drivers come in as more want to retire. So that gets harder. Bus drivers are a hard job, very hard job. So I give that all the strength to my drivers every day when they get in there. I worry about them from the time they get in there until the time they leave. So that's a very powerful position that they carry. It's a very serious job. And so I want to give them high shout out to the staff out there that's doing the jobs. I did give a report. You guys have any questions on reports, numbers on we have all about 550 of our students in daily. Right now, numbers have been down a little bit. But on an average, we're about 550 of our students. Attendance is pretty low. So that's pretty good, because we only have about, I think don't even have 1,000 students enrolled in our district right now. And so we're bringing in 550 of them, so we can see how much transportation is needed and how much our students and our families and communities rely on them. I also got the privilege of having a board member, Mr. Matilda, was able to join us. So we had to have a bus citation meeting. So one of our students did get into a number 3 citation, and we were able to have a great meeting, a great turnout. The student was able to come and address his issues. We were able to address ours, and he's going to be able to get back on our bus and safely. And hopefully he makes it the rest of the year, make some good choices. But I was happy to have the committee that we had, and I was happy to have a representative from a board to attend our meetings. And so we're going to see more of those. Hopefully we don't see no more number 3s, but if we do, I'm happy to have people that came and stepped in back into our building and are able to come and attend. So I was very pleased and very happy. And thank you, Mr. Matilda, for joining us with that. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to start by thanking you, Missy. I just appreciate you and Billy's. You guys are always willing to be flexible. I know sometimes I come in there and say, we got into the playoffs Sunday and we got to get to, Berkeley on Tuesday, and you'll always are willing to work with us to figure out, how we can find ways to make sure our kids get transported. So I just wanted to, we appreciate your guys' department and all of them. Help you get
Thank you.
started.
And I appreciate you, Douglas. You've been a big, wonderful help all year. And you're right. We see each other daily basis on that, trying to fix and correct and get us where we need to be. So I do appreciate that.
I also, that beat me too, but I also wanted to thank you for all of your help and support and teaching me the ropes of transporting sports teams and all the forms and all the little tiny nuances that you have to know. And I couldn't do it without you, and thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Anything else?
I just wanted to ask you how you're doing with Tin Brook. You have, because that looks to me like it's a pretty great need if you have.
On my
report.
Yeah, so our facilities at the transportation department is just a tin building. And we need to start, we always look at our students first and try to get everything. So funding that we get, we always try to put back into our students. And so we fall lower in the category of it. But if we don't do something very soon, we're going to lose our building and we're going to be misplaced. So we've got to put some kind of fundings and effort in there right now. I think if we were able just to put a layer of paint over our roof to seal those nuts and bolts, that would help us get some more years maybe out of the building. But the building's getting pretty down. So we will have to look at that as our future. And our FITS reports are making progress. So those should be, our May report should look way better. People have cleaned up, and I thank you guys for that and starting to get us out of that category. And so I expect our May report to look a lot at improvement for sure. So anything else, Ms. Lori? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a kindergarten nephew and second grade niece that are riding the bus and being harassed on a daily basis.
Ooh,
spit at, hit, cursed at. I know, from what we were talking about as far as the kids boarding the bus, if the lower grade kids are seated in the front section of the bus, I would hope that the bus driver has a little more interaction or supervision over those students. I understand, I believe my nephew is going to not have his son ride anymore.
Please come see me, get a hold of me. We try to address and get those. One of the things on the bus is there's only one bus driver there. They try to do their best. We do miss things, but I do look for people to let me know. We address those. We address the kiddos as soon as we can, and we try to get people in to help. We've even did little community service rather than citations and work with the kids. I have some better videos and stuff that I've been showing the kids that are having trouble on there and stuff, but we don't want your babies hurt. We don't want your babies to not want to ride the buses. So please come see me. My door is always open. I will gladly come see me. I need to know those kind of things. I don't know it unless brought to my attention or something, but I will definitely.
Yesterday, so
Okay, yeah, come see me and then I can address it.
So is there a law or a rule why a bus monitor cannot ride the bus?
No, we would love it. That would be ideal. It's a goal of mine. Oh gosh, that would be a dream come true.
And the people that I think are ideal for it are maybe like your teacher's aides, people that work for the district and going to work anyway, instead of them having to drive their own car 32 miles down the road or however far, they can ride the bus back and forth.
It would be an ideal job and I would love it. It would be a sweet dream. Yep, yep.
I didn't know. I was told, I thought that was like a rule against anybody.
Oh, no,
riding.
we need some funding and we would need some job descriptions, but it is a dream. That would be a great thing. And there's nothing, lots of people, lots of districts have bus monitors.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You got one for me?
Oh, not for you.
Okay, is everybody, any more for me?
Yes, do any of our buses have cameras?
We do, but some of the buses are old and still have V8 sensors in them. The only one that has a little bit working better is about 3 of our newer buses. The rest of them is safety concern that I would like to, and we are addressing that, and we are looking into solid companies, also the bus radios, and we're right in the process of getting a good company to upgrade our systems. So that is in the works.
Yes.
I have a concern. We were talking about the principals spoke from Trinity Valley, Jack Norton, Rich Peck, how well the reading programs are doing. I went to an Indian Ed meeting and I'm assuming it's in L that has 2 8th graders who don't even know the alphabet yet. And we can say COVID, but COVID has nothing to do with it. If they're at 8th grade and still haven't learned their alphabet, and they're not special ed.
Oh.
So why that's surprising.
Yeah, I know there is a second grader who does not know. the
No,
alphabet.
it was brought to our attention, that was an 8th grader. 2 8th graders.
That was in Tracy Ericsson's report.
No. it was in-
I said, thank you. Thank you.
No, but that's scary.
No,
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I would.
Her daughter that has first children in elementary school, she told them that she would volunteer. Sign some paperwork and a whole bit. There, she had not been told yet. She didn't want to be hired. She just said, I'll come in when I can as a volunteer. And then, everything you hear, like we need a lot of volunteers. But if they're not, if the principals are not asking for them, I think they, a year or two, what's happening at elementary school.
We used to have a volunteer packet that we kept in the office, and that might be something to look into, Kirsten, that the parents filled out and checked the box where they would want to volunteer, and then teachers could access those volunteers, in different times when they needed them. Maybe something just,
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't care.
would you?
Thank you for having me again. I'm sick. But I have a good report for you, the board. We haven't had to close for a while, except for yesterday. My site lead and I are both very ill and doing our best to get through it. But we haven't had to close with Val in a while. So that's good news from the last time that I came before you guys. And today, we had a really good turnout today we're gonna start a crocheting class in Hoopa. And so we had a really good turnout of students doing that, signing up for it. So I'm just gonna start with Orleans. Orleans is currently serving K through 8 students. We don't have too many 8th graders, but we do have a few in Orleans. We offer SFA tutoring, focusing on reading and comprehension at Orleans. The Orleans After School Program offers Karuk language 3 times a week and music twice a week at the after school program. Peck is currently serving K through third students, and Peck is offering math tutoring, reading tutoring 5 days a week. Peck also does Yurok language 5 days a week, which is sometimes integrated into their art projects. And Hoopa Elementary is currently serving K through 8th grade students. Hoopa ACES offers homework support, art, Hoopa language, and tutoring daily, except for Fun Fridays. Hoopa ACES is starting a Hoopa language art book, and every grade level will create their own art book, and they'll be able to take it home to their families. Trinity Valley is currently serving K through 8 students. Trinity Valley ACES offers homework support, art, SFA tutoring daily. They also do a Fun Friday at Trinity Valley. And that was about all of the report. Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me go, you're on.
So I'm the new district information network services administrator. I just got the position about a week and a half ago.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank everybody for welcoming me so far. It's been pretty welcoming. I've been in the district for like 13 or about 13 years now. So I know most of the people around, lived in the community most of my life, but thank you guys for welcoming me and making me feel welcome. I wasn't sure about the last time you guys got a board report from the technology department, so I just kind of went with what I had done or been around for most of the year. We did help with the deployment of the Savas Easy Bridge piloting that curriculum. We helped get it all out to all the students, K through 8. I think it might have even been TK through 8, but we helped get that out. We also were upgrading a little bit of our infrastructure from the E-rate funding that we got in the past. We had a couple of routers and switches that we had installed this year to help better the connectivity for our students and our staff. We actually got to install some new interactive boards, kind of like this one, that are touchscreen. We got to do that at Orleans and at CJ for their new portable, and then for CJ's classrooms, they were previously using projectors. They seem to be liking them a lot. We also was able to, I believe it was this year that we got to help CJ with their new Chromebooks. They purchased a Chromebook. So they weren't one-to-one previously, but now they are. All the students got a Chromebook. We also was able to help get more. We have for our Valcom speakers, they're the clock speakers that are for the bells and for some of the drills, like the lockdown drills and stuff. We got to work with the SRO on getting those put in and some of the rooms that didn't have them previously. We also got the portable in Orleans. We got internet connectivity out there this year, just a couple of months ago, right after it got put up. We also were able to integrate some of our services that we have from our on-premise to the cloud to help everybody like automate it so that as soon as people put it into our SIS areas, all the students and all the staff would automatically get all their groups, all their accounts. So that way it was a lot simpler and easier for the staff to be able to deploy stuff. That was some of our accomplishments that we had this year. Some of our current initiatives are getting more of our network infrastructure built up a little bit to help make sure that our connectivity stays stronger. Collaborating with some of the local ISPs to help with redundancy at some of our sites and our main connection to the internet also. We're kind of working a little bit with, talking with Acorn and talking with Europe Connect a little bit, trying to get those to help us so that we don't have days where whole sites don't have internet. We're working on coming up with like a blueprint of our whole network so that we can actually make those happen a lot easier. And then even after I'm gone, we'll be able to at least be able to just say, okay, yeah, let's hook up this internet connection, because I think we all know that we kind of out on an island right now trying to get some internet. We also were collaborating with the SRO to cover the rest of our entirety of our district with the lockdown bell so that everywhere can hear it more simply, because sometimes we kind of rely on it from the outside horns for them to hear it. But we got almost, I would say, a pretty high percentage of all of our sites covered. And we also just want to continue with the support for all of our staff and students. Any technology that they have in their rooms or that they use for learning. Some of our, little bit of our challenges, I only have one for that in my report. Our department organization, the department job descriptions and titles need to be updated and or changed to new job description titles to accommodate for the expansion and improvements that have been made within the district. It is recommended that we move to a more updated technology department model. I had already got to talk with Jennifer about it when I was getting hired, so I think we're kind of looking to move in the right direction. And that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you, Rico.
What? And.
Small towns?
Kim accidentally got skipped over.
Oh.
She had.
Oh.
That's okay. And.
Oh, and,
Oh.
Kim.
I just want
You
to
did.
say,
Now stand up, Kim, we can't hear you.
say I got the calendar and I'm looking at it right now, but my question is, did you want me to contact you or Emily? Because you said Emily had drafted it.
Emily made the draft calendar that I sent out for next year, taking all the hoopla ceremonial dates into consideration. So contact both of us. She's the one that created it, so she can make the changes. If you're saying, for example, we don't want Mondays to be early out days, we want it to go back to Tuesday, for example.
Okay, yeah, I just have logistical questions about how semesters and trimesters fit together. And also, we are the only school that takes September 8th off, like Noham did it and HCOE doesn't do it. And I know it's a holiday, but I'm not quite sure why.
September 8th, is it called
Admission
Day? It's in the CSEA contract.
But no other school does it. So is it
It's-
optional or like, can we do a little more research on that?
For what,
Because-
Juneteenth?
Isn't it Christmas?
September 8th, you say, right?
Yeah, because Northern Colorado doesn't do it and neither does HCOE. It's not on their calendar.
Yeah, I know, I sent their
So
calendar
I'm
to
just
you.
wondering why.
I'll check with the bargaining. Pardon? Oh, California. Unions.
We've never had that specific day.
We did last year.
Didn't we run that in as part of the ceremony? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, so it.
But it's separate this year.
It follows the date.
Follows the
Different.
contract. CSEA is what happened. So we're
Okay,
taking it. Okay, keeping it.
We'll look into that.
All right.
If you want to take it out, it'd be good, I see.
It's not that.
Yes.
Oh, but CSC, I'm sure they would agree to it.
Well, if it's in our contract, it's not negotiated. You know, that's negotiated. I can't take it out without.
We can ask.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious why we're keeping it and no other school district is doing it right now. And then I'm ready to get back to budgeting if you are. And I know that the 15th is coming up. And so I encourage you to invest in what we have. So if we have good teachers, let's groom them to be better.
You know, let's not just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I want us to take time to invest in teachers that may need improvement. So consider March 15th. I'm here if you have any questions.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
No? Oh, you're going for the okay, well, next. You have to say
No, you have a P on yours, but she, oh, yeah.
Good board. So school safety with our California Safety Company at Reading, we upgraded 3 camera systems in the district office, Hoop Elementary, gym, and the Hoop High concession stand. With the concession stand being the oldest camera system we had in the district at 8 years. So that was upgraded. So we're continuing to support the drills at other schools. So monthly drills, lockdown drills, working with technology. We do have identified some spots where the lockdown clocks are not being heard in certain classes, especially at Hoop Elementary. We're going to address those. So any other questions? Great. Yes.
As with the position of school safety, do you have somebody else working with you now?
Yes, Angel Giannis. He's stationed at Hoop Elementary.
Just some of the concerns that we've been talking about with bullying. Are you able to fly by and address any of this?
It's brought to our attention. We support the admin, support the teachers.
Even just going by on the playground and saying, hey, that's not.
Like today, we addressed, we had like 4 little separate incidents going down to school. A student was leaving the campus. I came in, we helped with Angel, and we brought the student back, got him to home with a relative, and some other issues were in the office. So whenever they call me, I will support Hoop Elementary and the school.
Like I said, the issues that we have about bullying.
Yes, we can, I can.
We need you.
Yes.
To just.
If you have any concerns, any parent, they can call me.
Just spot check them.
Yeah, okay, we can do that.
You know that the California Highway Patrol, Brian Singleton is actively working on programming, partnering with them. And it's, and will, and that's part of the component the cyberbullying and the bicycle safety, pedestrian safety. There's kind of a range of topics that Brian is going to be.
The California High Patrol trouble release on trouble communities.
Next item. Information number 5, information discussion items for funds and communications. We have a letter from Michael David.
So Michael Davies Hughes is the county superintendent, and he sent Martha and the board a letter saying, California Ed Code Section 1240 requires that I or HCOE staff on my behalf monitor schools identified in our county to review instructional materials, school facilities, the school accountability report card, and teacher misassignments / vacancies, and report to you the results of these visits and reviews on a quarterly basis. This report presents the results of visits and reviews of the schools in your LEA between October 1st to December 31st, 2022. Instructional materials. District is piloting new elementary math and science programs with support from HCOE staff. School facilities. Sufficiency was determined during the initial site visit. School accountability report card. Sufficiency was determined prior to initial site visit. Teacher misassignments and teacher vacancies reported in the annual report October 22nd. Please extend to your governing board, administration, and site staff my appreciation for their professionalism in addressing the compliance requirements for the Williams settlement legislation. Sincerely, Michael Davies Hughes. So that means we passed the Williams.
Discussion item 5B, district safety team recommends students use their backpack.
That's you, Lily. They didn't talk about it.
So, as you know, if you go to a professional sporting event, concert, when you go in there, they don't allow backpacks or bags that are, you know, or you can't see through. So basically, we talked to the district safety team about this going to, because we have a high rate of contraband that usually comes into the school and you can't see it. So with the clear backpack, you can see if they have a weapon or they have illegal drugs or knives or anything like that.
So what's the district's plan? What are you proposing, or what is the safety committee proposing to all of us?
Is that we go to this,
That we buy them or the parents buy them?
well, that'd be up to the board, you know, so initially, you know, usually, they're about $12, or you can go up to $100. Depends the design you want to, you know, the straps and different things like that. But we are with, Melissa, you have done a draft of, the backpack policy, you know, and it also will address, sporting teams, you know, so like you, for football or volleyball, you know, they don't have to have all their gear in a, clear backpack or big duffel bag, you know, for the equipment. That, but we'll have a policy will state that bag, they come with it, we'll go to the locker room and it stays there all day. They can't just keep going back and forth to that backpack, you know, to that gear.
Okay,
So.
okay, so we have a comment from Lynn or question.
If you're gonna do that, you need to let TANF know because they buy a
Yes,
lot of backpacks.
we have worked with them. They have like, they said 25 clients that they do backpacks and
Well, they give them away.
yeah, they're really,
500.
yeah, they were invited to the.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too, is we've already kind of discussed some opportunities. In the safety meeting about getting some partnerships to help purchase those backpacks. Because at least our thought was at the beginning, you know, this first year, trying to supply them, the district supplying them for students. And then as the future, as parents know, a lot of them are buying backpacks, you know, anyways, as they know the policy, we can move towards parents paying. You know, but first year implementing it, starting with giving the parents, you know, or the students the bags, and then moving from there.
Travel education was also part of that conversation.
Good.
And so those conversations are just in the beginning stage.
Yes, I'll have to.
Yes.
And is this something that is going on in other schools?
Yes, other school districts across the nation, this is, you know, it's that solution to it, but it's a part to help us, you know, curb, you know, illegal activities.
Year round simple on the backpack.
Yeah, they have, there's different, yeah, if you wanted to, they have those too,
No.
you know, but I think it's gonna be a positive thing for the district. You know, so.
Would you be able to help parents find them if they don't get them through TANF or anything?
Yes, there's a.
So I drafted a flyer.
Uh-huh.
It's very much just about the new policy if it's adopted. And then the backside, second side is going to have a range of local stores and online stores with prices and estimations.
My kindergarten will be so bad.
I know, right?
But you can get stickers.
Oh, okay.
I'll say it's fancy.
That was part of my 2-point question. Is this only for the high school at this time, or is it district-wide?
District-wide.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot too. And then the second thing is, this is basically one step away from, you know, maybe we might have to have a dress code later on. We don't have a dress code now, but I think this is like something, okay, we'll see how this works, we'll see if this works, and then I think a dress code in the future maybe.
So when we get the policy drafted, we'll bring it back to you for review at the next board meeting, so we can discuss it more. So we have the start date of the new school year, we can say, hey, this is what it is. Time when it's gonna be.
Thank you. I have one more question. Yeah. I would like a report on what other schools districts in our area are actually doing.
We can.
But if someone loses their backpack out, what's the?
We have losing.
On closed session.
Okay, I'm closing the town hall at 7:20. And do I have comment on closed session item?
I just wanted to thank Superintendent Lane for the food tonight. Much appreciated.
Welcome. Dig in. Take them to go.
Okay. See no comment on closed session items. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to the board for giving us this opportunity. I think this is very, very good.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. We will adjourn.
Remaining people who